Welcome to episode 3 of Against the Insanity. We've got a fully loaded show here for you today. It's Jason, Ricky, and Nick. We are back. How's it going, gentlemen?
Well, pretty good.
A little rusty this morning.
Fucking idiot.
Hey, the weather's fucking me up. I got arthritis in some spots with the other things you guys know about. I feel a little rusty is all.
Let me see. I see what you did there.
So I had to lead with this story. I mean, it's been all over the news. We've been sending memes relentlessly back and forth. But I wanted to kind of talk about the Alec Baldwin issue where a filmographer, I think it was, who they refer, cinematographer, got shot on the set of his show with a prop and he injured the director as well. And I thought this would be a perfect topic to cover on the show because, Ricky, you've shot guns. You own quite a few.
Right.
I have shot guns.
I might have lost a lot of them in a boating accident, but yes.
Oh, yeah. That's unfortunate.
I was on a bear trip about 8 years ago. I lost my entire stock. Well, I mean, we're going down the river and the fucking boat capsized.
So how does this happen?
I mean, to put it, in the simplest terms, he was fucking dumb. I mean, he pointed a gun at somebody. You never do that shit. That is, gun owning 101. Like, you don't point a gun at something that you don't want to destroy. Regardless if you know for a fact, it's empty, whatever the case may be, you can have the slide back, locked. You still don't point it. It's, getting into the discipline of not pointing that at somebody. It's, in my opinion, it's 100% his fault. He shouldn't have done what he did. I mean, I don't know, and this is one thing that they're not talking about either, but how close was he to this person? Like, it seems kind of from what I'm gathering, it was basically like point blank. Like, from what I've heard, like the rumor was during the filming of, Rust, this movie that he's in, he was pointing the gun like at the camera, basically to give it some type of effect that he was like pointing it at, whoever. So he had to have been very close. And I was actually looking into this a little bit, like, prop guns that are used in Hollywood. And prop guns aren't much different than real guns. They are still capable of firing live ammunition, real ammo from real guns. And they're supposed to have blanks in them, they say. And regardless, even if it had a blank or not, if you were point blank range, right at somebody, you're still going to cause some harm to somebody.
Alec Baldwin should be shooting blanks from now on.
So, like, I don't know, dude. I think there is still more that we don't quite know, possibly. Because I also heard, like, right before this happened, was it like 4 hours or something that the crew, like, left the set to, like, go on strike, and they were basically, and the reasons why they were going on strike was because of what were they saying there?
Hostile work environment.
Oh, yeah, hostile work environment.
Well, from
basically,
go ahead, Nick.
No, I'll let you go, Jason.
Well, from what I've been hearing is that earlier in the day, the gun had also discharged once or twice. Like, there was 2 close calls with I don't know if it was the same weapon or if it was just another prop gun, but I did hear that there was, I'm looking in this New York Post article, and I'm pretty sure they said that
It's like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then went to like the executives and reported it in.
Well, what I don't understand, guns don't just fucking go off either. Like, what was going on here? I mean, if it was happening earlier in the day, like, what's the deal? I mean, is it simply that people are being dumb and careless and
Well, let me add the financial aspect. And I'm going to kind of like, if you're not hiring professionals and you're hiring some jackass, probably like me, to do a job cheaper and at a very cost rate, especially with Hollywood and the global economy right now, I mean, costs were probably cut. Someone got possibly sloppy. Maybe another round left in the chamber wasn't cleared from the previous set. And when they went on, he was an ignorant fuck and pop, pop. That's a thought, maybe.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to first apologize, like, to the people who this did happen to, who lost a family member, mom, whatever, friend. But also, like, I'm going to also say that I can't fucking stand Alec Baldwin. I think he's such a fucking pompous asshole, especially on Twitter. He openly talked about, like, shooting people. I mean, there's all kinds of tweets resurfacing about how he wished, police officers and stuff like that would get shot. And, talked about Liz Cheney's dad, and I don't like her either, really, but getting shooting somebody in the face. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just openly brags about it all the time. So, I mean, it's definitely some karma coming back to fucking bite this asshole.
Well, he even had a few tweets about legitimately, I wonder myself what it'd feel like to accidentally kill somebody. Working on a movie
where he's
the movie, he was the father helping his son trying to get away from accidentally killing somebody.
Yeah, I know.
Life imitates art.
What are the odds? Yeah.
You play with enough fire, motherfucker, you're gonna get burned.
So there was, the one girl died, but there was another person that was injured, correct?
The director, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the person that died, her name is Helena, or I might be messing this up. Helena
Hutchins. She was 42. Hutchins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently what had happened was when the gun fired off, the bullet went completely through Helena's chest into the director of the movie as well.
Oh, so
that definitely was, like you said, Ricky, he had to be either close or that bullet had some fucking velocity on it because...
Well, and this is where I'm going to be a piece of shit. Green papers a little bit here. And I'm going to go off with what Ricky said, distance. If he's far enough away and it goes through her and hits the director, what kind of fucking ammo was in that thing?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if it was truly supposed to be like a blank, it's not supposed to have velocity, or it's not, there's going to be velocity coming out of that barrel regardless, but the projectile, it had to have been something. I don't know if it was an actual live, round or what. But to go through somebody and hit someone, else, I don't know, dude. Something's up.
Well, I did see, too, on the set, the person that's in charge of, like, taking care of all the guns and stuff, mm-hmm. specifically for this movie. They call her the armorer.
Okay.
She has, like, deleted her Twitter account. She's deleting all of her social media now because I'm sure now she's hiding, because how does something like this happen if you're in charge of keeping track of all the guns, what's in them, making sure that they're not loaded? You drop the ball. There's a lot of people saying, oh, well, this could be a setup and stuff like that. But I just feel like what it really comes down to, regardless, is negligence. Because, first of all, that gun probably shouldn't have been loaded anyway, like just sitting there. 2, motherfucker should not have been fucking pointing at anybody, because you just fucking don't do that. I mean, when I was 12 and taking my first hunter safety course, they teach you about stuff like that. Don't look down the barrel. You know what I mean? Like if the gun misfires, don't put it in front of your face and try to see if there's something lodged in it. I mean, it's just stupid shit like that I remember from even when I was 12. You just don't do. You don't prop it up against a tree if you need to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, I mean, another thing, and not taking jabs, at any of people, at any group of people, but you have to remember, you're talking about Hollywood, number one.
Yeah,
you're talking about people that are not, around guns or understand or really know what to do around guns.
Well, hold on one second.
Then you have people like that will, go out and say, oh, they're anti-gun and all this kind of bullshit, like Alec Baldwin. And then he turns around and does this. It maybe if you educate yourself a little bit more about the topic, guns in general, this shit won't happen. I think, a lot of times what needs to happen in movies, and, I will say this, for example, like, the John Wick franchise. I'm not sure if you guys ever followed that, but
Yes.
like Keanu Reeves and, Halle Berry and all that shit, they actually go through a course. They go through how to use the guns, how to safely use the guns, and all this type of shit. Yes, they're using prop guns on the set. Yes, they're not shooting real ammunition during those movies, but they're giving the training and the knowledge on how to use them, so shit like this doesn't happen.
Well,
Where we have this movie, Rust, that I guarantee you he did not receive any type of training, any type of, firearms course in any regard to make it safer to be using that type of, tools on set. I mean, that's what I think.
And this comes all down to also responsibility and just maturity too, because taking into the fact that I've seen some of those movies and I've seen some of the interviews with those Halle Berry and even Keanu, where we're on set and they're actually on training courses, going through legitimate training courses with actual soldiers and shit, and police officers doing their shooting, practicing, and whatnot. You don't, for a motherfucker like him to run his mouth about everything under the sun, and if he didn't do any kind of training, honestly, he shouldn't be allowed to handle fucking any kind of weapon ever again for the rest of his life.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if it's a toy or a goddamn cannon from China.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get smacked in the head if I pointed a cap gun at one of my fucking parents or something growing up. My grandfather would have beat my ass, and with good reason.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You just don't fucking do that. Like, you see a gun sitting there, don't fucking touch it. I never did. Nobody ever in my house ever got shot. My grandfather had his gun on his nightstand all the time. When he went to bed, when he came home from work, I mean, that's exactly where it was. It didn't move. You didn't touch it.
Right.
Well, also, I mean, ever since The Crow, Brandon Lee, I mean, there were laws that were put in place also because of what happened.
Yeah, because of this shit. And, I'll tell you a little story, a prime example of don't fucking point guns at people growing up. And, I think we talked about this possibly on my, the old podcast and stuff like that, but I'll reiterate it. My cousin and I, we were out shooting a BB gun. And I was up on his, up on the outdoor like patio area, pretty far away. And my cousin's like down on the ground, like, shooting at birds or whatever we were shooting at. We did stupid shit like that when we were kids. Turns and points the gun at me. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking point that at me. And, this is famous last words. It's not loaded. And, in that time, I see the BB come flying out the barrel and it shoots me in the Adam's apple. I mean, it literally knocked me back on my ass because, I mean, it hit me pretty freaking hard.
Right.
It's like, dickhead, this is exactly why I fucking told you. I don't care if you said the gun wasn't loaded. Don't fucking point that shit at me.
All guns are loaded. That's what people need to understand.
Yeah, and I saw my fate, like I said, as that BB was leaving the barrel. I knew I was fucked.
Oh, man.
All guns should be
through a table.
All guns should be treated as they're loaded. Period.
Well, it's just like the other common sense thing, handing scissors or a fucking knife, let alone a machete to somebody. You don't hand them the fucking blade sharp end at them.
Right. I mean, it's just, like I said, I think there's a lot of just ignorance and, that happened in this situation. It sucks. Obviously, someone died in this situation. That's never good. I feel bad for her family and friends and everything else. But,
of course,
the blame here is Alec Baldwin. I'm sorry.
Well,
he pointed
also,
the gun.
Well,
I'm not sure. Like I said, and they're doing investigation and all this type of shit. Like I said, they were talking about there were some issues during the set. 4 hours, I believe, is what they said before this event even happened. So there's clearly things going on with the production of this movie that are just not up to snuff where they should be. And then this happens. You know what I mean? I think there's more to it. Did Alec Baldwin know there was a live, round in the chamber? Maybe not. But again, if you had the proper training, you would know not to point that shit at somebody. So I don't know.
I got a few things to finish up with part of this. One, This also comes down to the fucking studio. For every motherfucker out there that ever utters about companies, people's responsibility, or anything, the fucking studio should be hung to the fucking gallows. No pun intended. 2, Baldwin held responsible never to work in Hollywood probably again.
No, I don't believe that shit.
I know it's not going to happen, but this is my vision.
If that was you or I,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that would be the case.
Thinking. But that's how it should be. The studio should be held accountable to the highest fucking point, because they are surely and wholly more responsible, because reports were filed, calls were getting put in, part of the production crew was going to the studio executives, nothing was done. Baldwin still ran free. 2, Baldwin's a father. He should fucking know better. Anybody who's a parent should fucking know better.
He talks to his kids,
right? And there's a certain circumstance, and he's just not a human. Fuck him.
Just doesn't give a shit. I mean, you've heard the leaked calls that he gave with his daughter, fucking talking all that shit. I mean, that, you know, they were all over tabloids and stuff, and he's just not a good person all around. I mean, he's gone off on paparazzi, he's gone off on people who get close to him. It's just like, he's a complete fucking asshole, and he acts, you know, he's typical Hollywood that thinks he fucking knows everything, but clearly after this, you know, I don't think he really knows.
Right.
But I will say, I mean, at least he gave it his best shot.
Oh,
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Fuck you, Alec Baldwin. That's all I can say. You know, I've been waiting on the story to say that. I was going to say something in the beginning, but I was like, nah, I'll wait till we're almost done, about to move on to the next story, and then I'm going to just fucking let him have it.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll rename the movie from Rust to Ice Cold Killer or something.
Have you seen the fucking memes?
2 for 1 special
posting in Discord and shit like that? Me and Steve have just been posting all these different memes.
Yeah, I've seen those.
The prop gun meme.
Yeah,
hold on.
Prop gun as a Top Gun. That's funny.
Let me grab my movie real quick and reopen Discord.
Director cut Alec Baldwin. It shows Bugs Bunny when he was like shooting his pistol.
Hold on, I gotta say my favorite one was, I was on the set of Rust when Alec Baldwin started blasting, and it's that fucking douchebag.
Oh, David Hodge.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I found that one on Twitter.
People are fucking savages.
Well, I have to say, that's because of the shit that Alec Baldwin is on record saying.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are never going to let him forget that. The internet never forgets. And Amy asked me yesterday about the story. She's like, where do people find all these old tweets and stuff? I'm like, people save this shit for specifically this reason. As soon as you fuck up, you are never going to live it down. And this is exactly what is happening to Alec Baldwin right now.
Well, there's one old philosophy that's been floating around for thousands of years. Judge not unless you want to be judged, motherfucker.
So I guess while we're on the topic of guns, I got to ask you guys about this story too. I just decided I'll throw this one in here. Did you guys see the video going around the internet of the Marine vet who stopped a gas station robbery in Arizona with his bare hands?
I did see that.
Top notch shit right there.
Yeah, this is crazy. So I pulled the article from Military News, but a Marine Corps veteran was caught on surveillance footage stopping an armed robber with his bare hands at a gas station in Arizona on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The video incident, the Marine is seen standing inside a Chevron gas station in Yuma, Arizona, frontage road, when a masked individual entered carrying a handgun, followed closely behind by another masked suspect. The third suspect is seen outside the door. I think this is funny. So, like, if you watch the video, like, the timing this guy has, he's turned around talking to the clerk. Mm-hmm. And as he turns to walk towards the door, you know, the guy comes in and is pointing a gun at him. Within seconds, he slaps the gun to the side and literally knocks the dude on his ass. I mean, it's just like, the timing this guy had was fucking like...
He turned into Mama Bear and knocked him the fuck out.
He did not hesitate at all. I saw that shit. He just turned, saw the guy point the gun, and immediately reacted and got that guy to the ground.
Well, the thing is, I kind of wonder too, whatever was behind the clerk, reflective wise, maybe he saw on like a screen or glass.
No, I think he was kind of surprised initially when he turned and saw that kid come in with the gun, and then he let him have it.
But dude, yeah, when he went mama bear in like a split second and fucking mauled his ass.
Yeah, he did.
It's that
was
freaking
champion.
Marine training kicking in, man. He wasn't gonna fucking put up with that shit.
Well,
Right.
I mean, there's kids out there that need their fucking ass beat.
Well, and I think that kid received. Oh well, I guess he held him down until the cops got there. But yeah, I probably would have beat that kid's ass too. You pull a gun on me, it'd be pretty tough for me not to rough him up a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, either way, yeah.
I mean, I was pretty impressed anyway.
Yeah, no, I was.
Well, yeah. I mean, he stopped somebody from probably dying. Either one of those young kids from being stupid and ignorant, or obviously the clerk.
Because they probably would have shot the clerk or something. You can't trust these freaking these kids anymore.
Especially when you're young and all these kids nowadays with their bullshit anxieties and their adrenaline, they're all fucking cracked out naturally. So I mean, you need fucking knock them the fuck out.
Another cool thing like about this Marine is the Fox News interviewed him. Okay. And at the end of the interview, he goes, "Oh yeah, hey, I didn't really see the end of the interview, but apparently, like at the end of the interview, he's like, oh, thanks for having me on." And Epstein didn't kill himself, and then Fox News cut him off. I'm like, this dude is my fucking hero.
That's fucking great.
That's funny.
People just don't let it go, and I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Never forget.
Oh man, this next story just fucking outrages me. I've been kind of like chomping at the bit like to get here, but I know it just fucking pisses me off. So I was going through TikTok the other day and I sent this video to you guys. I'm like, yo, you have to fucking watch this. But apparently in Florida, Revered Florida father describes the hell his 7-year-old daughter with Down syndrome was allegedly put through in the name of the school board's mask mandate. So what apparently had happened was he was waiting, to pick his daughter up at the bus stop one day, and she got off the bus with, a mask on, and it was tied around her face with a nylon rope. So not only was the mask on, but they took nylon rope and tied it around her fucking head.
Right. Well, another thing too that they're talking about is when she got off the bus, her mom was there to pick her up from school.
No, the father.
No, it was her mother.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was the father.
No, it was the mother. So what happened was the mother came, picked her up from school from the bus. The girl's 7 years old. So she's very young. The school is Ocean Breeze Elementary School in Brevard County, Florida. It's 60 miles off Orlando, if anybody's kind of curious on where the location of this county is. 7-year-old Sophia, she gets off the bus. Her mother's there. She sees that the mask is on her head. They immediately go home and share the information with the father that, this mask was soaked, number one, because Sophia is she has Down syndrome. She has a condition where her tongue is actually enlarged and she cannot speak. She can't, tell you if she's in distress or has any types of issues, or can't even communicate to her parents that this is happening at school. So her father goes to the school and is starting to confront them and trying to find out, look, my daughter, she has a doctor's excuse. She has, an exemption from her doctor saying that she is not to wear a mask due to her, her condition. So the school tells him that the school board says that all students need to be wearing this mask. And he's trying to find out, okay, was this just a 1-day thing? Has this been, when did this start? Well, when they start looking at the situation here, this has been going back 6 weeks before this date. So for 6 weeks, this girl has been coming to school. I'm not sure who. I don't want to say, who is doing it,
Yeah.
because I don't know. But the school, somebody in the school is tying this mask around this girl's head so that she cannot remove it from her face. A week prior to this incident happening, the school calls home, is telling the parents, your daughter is taking off her shoes, during, school hours. Can we get your assistance on figuring out a way that we can have your daughter not take off her shoes, get a different pair of shoes or something so that this girl isn't coming to school, taking her shoes off at school. But the school never called the parents to let them know that the girl is taking off the mask. And this is where the problem starts because, one, she has a doctor's note saying that she shouldn't be masked, number one. And two, they've been putting this mask on this girl this way for 6 weeks when she shouldn't be wearing one. And it's like I said, the mother picked her up and the mask is soaked in saliva, and it's due to the condition that the girl has. She can't breathe. Due to the fact that her tongue's enlarged, she has a hard time breathing. She can't speak, and they're forcing her to wear this mask, and it's soaked. And, if your mask is wet like that, drenched in sweat, you are not going to be able to breathe through that damn thing. So they were putting this girl in harm for over 6 weeks.
Hold on, I'm gonna have
the school. No, you're not. I'm not done.
I know, but I got to interrupt you before I forget.
This school forced this girl to wear this mask for 6 weeks and in this condition, and they did not think to call the parents and share what's going on with them all this time. They can call a week before and tell them about the girl's shoes, but they cannot call about the mask. I'll tell you why they didn't call about the mask. Because she has an exemption from wearing it, number one. She shouldn't be wearing a mask to begin with. And the school is taking it upon their hands to tie a mask around her face and not let the parents know what's going on.
There's one thing you're forgetting.
Go ahead.
In the county, they already had and told the school board no mask mandate.
Well, it's an illegal mandate.
Yeah, you do not put it into effect.
Well, I heard it changed.
Well, okay. When I saw the video,
the governor of Florida, you cannot impose mask mandates.
No, but the problem, you're right. In the state of Florida, yes. But what happened here is when school started, the school board,
the commies on the school board,
it was voted 3 against 2 that they were going to issue another mandate for students to wear these masks. That's the problem here. It's not Florida as a whole.
Clowns.
It's the school board decided
it's
that
the
they were going.
level.
Yeah. So these board members, the school board members, should be responsible for this. This girl was put in harm's way, in my opinion, because she has a condition. She has a note excluding her from wearing this mask. The school knew that they were doing something wrong because before this date that she got off the bus and her mom found her this way, the school's been tying this mask around her head with nylon rope, and they take it off before they send the girl home. This day, someone fucked up or forgot or whatever the case may be, or the girl just got on the bus and didn't even, see who she was supposed to see or, whatever about getting the mask removed. But she went home with the mask on, and that's when the parents found out 6 weeks later.
Right. And that is
so
completely,
there's a lot of, there's a lot of shit going around this story because, school board meetings, I guess, since, this whole pandemic started and when they really started enforcing these mask mandates, like school board meetings have been like booming lately. And one of the things that they were talking about, like in Florida, is, during these school board meetings, they have the parents, there's like a time period where there's public comment is what they call it, where, the parent can go up to the podium and express any type of concerns that they have to the school board and the school about what's going on. So, first of all, in Florida, they started reducing how much time you have at the podium. So before it was like over 2 minutes, whatever. Now they brought it down to just a minute. You have 60 seconds to express your concerns and have your questions answered. I mean, and come on, that's not enough time. That is bullshit. But they were also saying because of that, and because of how many people have been coming to these board meetings expressing their concerns for their kids, that some of these meetings, dude, are going on until after 10 p.m. And these parents are coming to these board meetings with their kids because, they can't leave their kids at home, by themselves because they're young. This is an elementary school we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. They're coming to these meetings with their kids, trying to, express their concerns to the board meeting. These meetings are going past 10 p.m. And in many cases, parents are like, well, screw this. It's late. I got to get home. My kids, has to be at school in the morning. And, their concerns are not being addressed. And
it's on purpose.
Yeah, it is on purpose. 100% it's on purpose. And not only that, but this is also happening across the country right now where the government is having the fucking FBI involved in these school board meetings.
And they're calling parents terrorists.
And they're calling parents terrorists, domestic terrorists. These parents are coming to these board meetings not saying, oh, F this school and I'm going to bomb this. Nothing like that. Nothing like that is being said. Parents are just coming to the podium, expressing their concerns about these mask mandates. They're basically saying, they don't think it's just and reasons why they have it. And they're trying to talk to the school rationally, being respectful. And FBI are showing up at parents' houses, questioning them on their views or the questions that they prompted during these board meetings. And why do you think that is? To scare the fucking parents. The FBI is not doing a fucking thing for these, these parents and, addressing their concerns properly. They're coming to their houses. They're, trying to scare these people, I think. And they're thinking, maybe if we show up at these, parents, homes, we can scare them a little bit and they'll just stop showing up at these meetings. I bet you that's what it is.
Let's go, Brandon.
Well, I'm going to interrupt here and finally, there's a few things for one, the one major thing is I'm going to backtrack here, but then tying the fucking the noose around the child's neck and face. Everyone's all about COVID, germs, bacteria. You have a lot of saliva, a lot of moisture foaming up. Is anybody wiping the child's face every maybe 10, 15, 20 fucking minutes? Nope. Are they trying to make sure that child has some form of liquid drink they're allowed to have that's not going to hurt them in any kind of way?
I guarantee no. They put the mask on her face first thing in the morning, and it's on until she leaves for the day, and somebody comes to her, takes it off, and sends her on her merry way, and it's fucked up. And another thing, how come they're not doing this shit to somebody that doesn't have Down syndrome? Why? Because that kid would go to their house. They would tell their parents what the fuck this school is doing to me, tying my mask around my face with nylon rope, and then they would have a bigger fucking problem. But they're doing it to this girl because she can't talk up for herself.
Exactly.
Fucked up.
Yeah, I know. And if depending on bacterial viral sections, that's a legitimate fucking contamination issue, hardcore, and then just let that kid go.
Right. They're not, like I said, they're not doing this shit to any other student. They're picking on her. They're putting her in harm's way.
Yeah.
Well, and the school knows what they're doing is wrong, and they're fucking doing it anyway. And how do you know that they're doing it? They know that it's wrong because they didn't inform the parents about it whatsoever.
Yeah, and they're hiding behind the school board, too.
Right, and they're hiding behind the school board.
You have a choice.
Right, the school tells the parents, oh, the school board made that decision. Well, you're a fucking, school. There's a principal in there. There's people in there that are, top of the, food chain, if you want to call it, in the school, or a teacher. Like, if you see this girl, this condition that she is in, mask soaked, you know what I mean? They know that she shouldn't have a mask to begin with. How come no one's stepping the fuck up and taking it off her face?
Exactly.
In my opinion, there's a lot of people that are responsible here, not just the school board.
And I hope they get sued out of fucking existence.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say it, but I hope the school fucking goes bankrupt.
They need to feel this one, 100%. Yeah. Her father, Jeffrey Steele is his name. He has, attorneys involved here. I mean, they're going after.
There is
a
GoFundMe to help them to destroy that school.
Yeah, I saw that.
I hope they do,
and I hope really they do. The school. I'm sorry, but the school deserves it.
Well, I would understand if that went in there and beat the fucking piss out of any of those people too, because that'd be real hard.
There's three of them.
Right.
I watched. Oh, my fault.
No, go ahead. I was just finishing up.
All right, I watched that video where the dude explains the thing. The dude that's on the committee for whatever legal a law that he's a part of.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker, by the end of that video, livid red.
You could tell he was pissed.
Oh,
yeah.
He has every right to be pissed, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, when it comes to, like, there's very little things that truly just fucking send me over the fucking line that piss me off. But when it comes to, like, kids like that and shit going on, to kids, that dude, fucking blood boils. I can't stand that shit.
Guy. Well, not only that, but there's 3 of them, and he says it explicitly. He says there's 3 besides the school board and some of the others. And he pretty much goes into, he's like, we know who they are, and there is a special place in hell for you.
Yeah.
You are not hiding.
During that, so the state of Florida, the governor down there, he had like a press conference, circling around this whole situation with the school. But there was a lady that talked during that press conference that was also stating that there was a substitute teacher in the school that was telling the kids, okay, kids, when you go home tonight, you need to tell your parents that you want to wear this mask, that you want to go to school wearing this mask because, you want to save yourself and you want to save the other, people in the school from this deadly virus. That parent called the school and reported this. And you know what they did? They kicked the substitute teacher out.
Oh, wow.
They actually did. Yeah. But you have, like I said, you have a teacher telling kids that are, like I said, Sophia's 7 years old, dude. You have a substitute teacher telling these kids at this young of an age on how they should be feeling about this. Kids at that age don't understand this shit, dude. They don't understand what COVID is or what it is, and what it does. Like, that is fucked up that you are, trying to put this shit in these young kids' head that you want to come to school with a mask to protect yourself and others, and you need to go home and tell your parents that.
Well, what? Teachers,
are you fucking kidding me?
They're unhinged. Every one of these fucking teachers, dude. It's like you look at them and you can clearly see, especially these teachers that do this shit. They're not right in the fucking head. No. I would literally be kicked out of school today if I had to go to high school and deal with the shit that these kids are going to high school with, because I just wouldn't fucking listen.
Right.
I'd be kicked out.
And I just
can't fucking stand it.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And in this situation, honestly, political views aside, take the whole whatever side you are on with COVID and the mask mandates and vaccine, all that shit. Put that aside for a second and just look at the facts here with this girl, what they did to her. The school is wrong. No matter what you say, no matter what your stance on politically, what the school did to this girl is just absolutely wrong.
Yep.
And they need to fucking pay.
And I'm sure they will, believe me. And that's going to really make me happy.
Yeah. Well, this should be like one of the biggest shocks, at least anybody paying attention on any scale or form. Local level.
It starts at your school board, man.
Yeah,
let's just go to show you.
Get in, get all the bullshit, vote, filter that as much as you can.
Get rid of every one of those clowns on the school board. That's your first order of business.
Yeah.
And then go up and continue and build from there, because it's going to take everyone at a local level together, build up. I don't give a fuck, Democrat, Republican, independent, unaffiliated. Fuck the goddamn shit. Just look at humanity and look what the fuck's going on. Because fucking A.
The world's going to shit, let me tell you.
If I had the dice in my hands, I'd set off a quake and, flood 2.0.
Yeah, it's fucking. I saw this yesterday, dude, and I'm like, you guys gotta look at this story. I mean, this fucking pissed me off like right out of the gate. It's always those stories that really get me fired up.
Yeah, because
the fact that you were tying a fucking mask to this girl's face and
she's
you got
not
caught.
The only one.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine the shit that these kids are going through in school. And to be honest, it's not right. No. You're not a fucking, you're not a parent. You're a teacher.
That's the thing. I mean, these people in schools, the teachers, principal, whatever, these kids aren't your kids. You know what I mean? They have parents. And the fact that you're, doing this shit, you are 100% wrong. Like, that's it. Period.
Well, I saw another video while we're on the topic of TikTok. This teacher had, in school, had like a feathered headdress on.
Oh God, that.
And was fucking acting like an Indian, running around the classroom while she was actually had a few Native American students in the class, and the kids, like, they did an interview with him, and he's like, this kind of felt really bad, like it was obnoxious and stuff like that. But it's like, what the fuck is wrong with these teachers? These are the very fucking teachers that talk about don't appropriate culture and don't do this shit and don't do that, but yet you're acting like a fucking idiot.
Well, now that you bring that up, I mean, another thing that's sweeping across the United States is part of schools' curriculum is to teach critical race theory and all this bullshit.
Yeah, and kill whitey. Yeah, right? I get it.
And they're pushing that agenda and those that criteria,
ideology.
Ideology to these kids, at a very early age, and it's happening across the United States. Not every state, but there's a lot of them that are, and that's what these kids are learning in school these days, dude. That shit never was brought up or taught when I was in school.
Yeah, and look how racist you are. Oh my God, dude.
You don't even know.
Since 2010, the ideology shift in mentality for all this bullshit, it's been set in place since then, and since 2012. And then you look at all the communist bullshit sweeping the fucking nation and people's ideology.
It's all division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really what it comes down to.
Divide and conquer.
It's controlling what your kids learn in school. I mean,
you spend all the time fighting each other instead of fighting the real problem is these dickheads that are in power that should not have any ounce of power. You shouldn't even be fucking running a McDonald's bathroom.
I'll take it a step further for like 1 second. If you look at the systematic place of all these ideologies and how they're spreading across and how they're using their bullying pressure tactics socially, it's basically just to dismantle American traditional values, to cripple us and make us the bitch of the world since we're the youngest fucking country on the planet. The rest of these fucking countries can eat a fat fucking dick.
Well,
Hold on. I ain't done yet. And they can take a soldering iron down the fucking throat, because half of them histories and half of the shit they've done to people to become a kingdom, to become a fucking power entity, and the shit that they've done to their own people over the years, courses of centuries, they can eat a fat fucking dick and take a fucking soldering iron up the ass. History's fucking important.
All right, did you take your meds this morning? You clearly didn't.
Probably not.
Yeah, I told you. But what I'm saying is, if you look at the systematic and how they're trying to change American history, American culture, even traditional values, there's shit that we don't agree with that's happened, but it's part of history. You learn, you adapt, you evolve. You become compassionate, and all these other countries slinging their bullshit and the shit that they're doing nowadays to each other systematically, they can fuck off.
All right, so to translate that in simplest terms, basically, kids are being taught a bunch of bullshit in school these days, and they're coming out of school and their minds are full of just bullshit stuff that is not going to help them in the real world. And it's just. I don't get it. What these kids are learning isn't things that you need in the real world, and that's where we're at.
I'm tired of waking up every day and being told that I'm the fucking cause of the fucking all these issues that are going on in the world. I'm like all the shit I fucking put up with in school and all the fucking bullying and stuff like that. And it's like I told Amy the other day. I said, it just feels like everything's come fucking full circle. And now I'm the fucking problem for no fucking reason at all again. And it's just like, I'm tired of it. And, if I were to really just make it any simpler, I'd just say, let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
I know you on a personal level, known you for years. Yeah, I could see why you would be the I could definitely see why you would be the problem, Jason.
Yeah.
No,
it's always
I agree with you. It's bullshit. What these kids are learning these days, it's just bull crap. You know what I mean? Kids are even going to college and getting degrees in like the stupidest shit, and then they graduate. They go into the real world and they can't find a job because what they learned in school is just bullshit.
Fucking utter garbage.
So they can utter on the teat of the government that's the new god and the new daddy. It's a systematic placement to fucking brainwash and enslave the world.
Okay, I think we need to wrap this up. Nick needs his medication.
No, I mean, it's the
No,
truth.
but yeah, before I say anything else that's going to get me in trouble, I'm definitely, it was definitely a hot button show today. And, this kind of stuff really has been frustrating me. And it's, the last 2 years has kind of fucking really put me into a fucking bad space because I'm just tired of dealing with this shit with people.
Yep.
Just over it. It's time to move on. You want to wear a mask, do it. You don't. Fine. You don't want to get vaccinated? Fine. You don't want to if you want vaccinated? Fine. It shouldn't be your fucking problem to worry about me. I'm sorry.
Right.
Stop.
I
Leave
agree.
me the fuck alone. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.